I'm Ken,
And I'm Barbara.
and we are West Coast Cruisers.
We love cruising, it's our favorite thing to do. We're West Coast Cruisers, we're here to share the fun with you.
Now, there are plenty of YouTube cruising channels out there providing up-to-date cruise news and cruise information.
Two of my favorites are Lolita Loca with Tony and Don's Family Vacations. So it begs the question, does YouTube really need another cruise channel? Well, we think so because we live near the West Coast, and when it comes to cruising, the West Coast seems to get a lot less attention than the East Coast. This makes sense because Florida has been the cruise capital of the U.S. and probably the world for a long time now. We wanted a forum for people like us, West Coast cruisers who cruise from the domestic West Coast ports, which basically means the state of California or Seattle, Washington.
We invite you to become part of our West Coast cruising community. Tune in to receive notification of our latest videos discussing West Coast cruising.
First off, let me introduce ourselves and give you a little background. In case it's not obvious from the video, we are both senior citizens. Shortly after we met, we took our first vacation together in 2012, a cruise vacation aboard the Carnival Splendor. We discovered that we both loved cruising and loved the same things about cruising, just being on the ship, being taken care of, food always available, divorced from the real world and its stresses, and the ability to completely unwind.
We promised ourselves that we would budget to cruise once every year. We promptly broke that promise the next year when we took 2 cruises and then another 2 cruises the year after that.
Then we managed to book 3 cruises the next year. Fast forward to the present. Prior to the pandemic and the shutdown of the cruise industry, we were doing 5 cruises a year, which strained our budget, but by careful shopping and becoming budget cruisers, we managed.
Since the cruising restart, we have sailed on 1 cruise on the Ovation of the Seas to Alaska, and we are booked on 3 more cruises through January of 2022.
We live near the West Coast, but not on the West Coast. Hence, 90% of our cruises are from the West Coast, and we need to fly to the cruise port. When we have not cruised from the West Coast, we've usually cruised out of Galveston, Texas. We've cruised twice out of Florida, but it's such a schlep for us to go to Florida, and an added expense, I'm not sure what would motivate us to do it again.
We want to cruise as often as we can, which means asking if going on cruise A allows us to cruise 2 or 3 times a year, but going on cruise B allows us to cruise 5 times a year. Which do we choose? There has to be a very compelling reason to choose cruise A.
We've cruised on the following mass market cruise lines: Carnival,
Princess,
Celebrity,
Royal Caribbean,
Norwegian.
and Holland America.
In upcoming videos, we will discuss different ships, different cruise lines, and a different cruising perspective, all through the lens of a West Coast cruiser. So if you are a West Coast cruiser, or even if you are not, but just like to talk cruise, come on in and join the club. It's free.
So until next time, happy cruising from
West Coast Cruisers.